Hello and welcome in next episode. In this episode I'm going to show you how I built this polytunnel right here. Now I put the information that it's easy way, and tell you why. It's because we're not going to build the frame, we're going to buy it. And the frame I've got is from the one of those cheap polytunnels that I bought many years ago. The problem with those is that cover will last for maybe 1 year or so, and then it's just gonna disintegrate and you're gonna end up with netting. So rather than buying another cover, what I did, I just bought proper polytunnel cover and put it on top of this frame. So the whole cost of this gonna be, in my case at least, was probably like £170, which comparing to professional polytunnels, which goes for a few hundred in UK at least, I think it was alright. So what I would say is that if you don't want to bother with building frame or don't want to buy materials but just want to use the frame but you either got or you're gonna buy, that video might be very useful for you. So anyway, let's get to it. Okay, so assuming you already have a frame, next thing to get would be a polytunnel cover. I use this very useful calculator that you can see on the screen, so just go to the websites that you can see on the top. I also put the link into the description under the video. Then make sure that you check the checkbox saying that polythene will be buried in the trench, and ensure that you put the right measurements for your frame. Once you hit calculate, it will give you the exact size of the cover that you need. Okay, so what you can see on the screen here is my actual order that I made with all the things that I needed. We have here anti-hotspot tape, which you put on the frame, and it prevents polythene material from being damaged, especially during hot weathers. I bought 3 rolls. You know, my polytunnel is 4x2. Depending if yours is bigger or small, you might need more or less. Next thing is repair tape. You should get at least 1 roll of these. It will help you when you're going to be wrapping the material around the door frames, or if you puncture your polythene material, and you know, it's going to help you fix it. And at the end is the material itself. As you can see, I paid £80 for this. Maybe you can find the cheaper price. I just thought it would be useful to give you all those costs, you know, so you roughly know how much you might need to pay for this. Okay, so first thing, let's dig out the trench all around the frame. Now make sure the frame is not too close, because otherwise it might fall into the trench. And I would say it should be probably between 12 and 15 inches deep. You know, you can always make it deeper later, so don't dig out too much. And here is the tip. You know, if you're going to be growing tomatoes on the strings going from the top, you might use those plastic cable ties, as I did here. You know, just make sure you put them before you start applying the anti-hotspot tape on the frame. Alright, once this is done, grab the anti-hotspot tape and put it on top of the frame. You can go all the way down. I'm gonna cut it in the middle of the frame. You know, just put it everywhere when the polythene material will touch the metal. You know, that's just the basic rule. Okay, so here is when the fun part starts. You have to now put the cover on top of the frame, and on the photo that you can see, actually it's done wrong. There is, as you can see, there is way more material on the side, which means, you know, I should put it the material along the polytunnel. So just keep an eye on that. You know, if you see something like on this picture, yeah, just it's wrong. Once cover is on top, grab something very heavy to put the material in place on the back, like you can see here. This is if you're doing this alone, of course. Then go to the front of the polytunnel, and this is how it should look like. Grab the top part of this polythene material and use duct tape or any kind of tape to attach it to the top frame, and you can pull it slightly to make sure there is a pressure. This is to, you know, ensure that even if there's like a windy weather, the whole thing will be in place. Then start filling up the trenches with the soil. I would say start on the left, and then when you start filling up on the right, each time you do it, apply some pressure, you know, with your legs basically on the material before you start covering it. This is to make sure that there is a nice tension on the cover. One more tricky part is to get the material on the back. You're gonna find out there is a lot of it, so just pull it towards the middle of the polytunnel like I did here, and you know, just fill the trench with the soil like on any other side. Now we have to take care of the front, but before you do it, use the anti-hotspot tape to cover all the sharp you know, screws and anything that that can puncture the polythene material once you start wrapping it up. Okay, now it's time to wrap the material around the door frame. You can use the repair tape to keep it in place, but better idea is to use some thin wooden planks like I have here. Just put them against each other and then screw them together, and in this will hold material for much longer. To cover the doors, I used leftover veggie mesh. You know, just want to make sure that the air will be able to get through, so it's not too hot. And as you can see, I put the strings on the right, but you can also keep them in the middle, you know, if you want to grow tomato there. And also I used very simple method to keep the doors closed. I used one of those hook bungee cords, you know, just to attach them on those wooden planks, and it does work pretty well. Right, so the polytunnel just survived quite a big storm, one of the biggest storms in the recent years, and probably I should tell you about two findings, or even three. So first of all, the wind was pushing on this direction because we have a park over there, and that's why this piece didn't manage to hold on, so basically it broke. So what I would say, when you're building this polytunnel, try to put maybe even like me or something more sturdy, put some kind of wooden piece here, attach it with the wire, and do it probably on all 4 areas. Now another thing I've done is this, so make sure that you put some bricks under the frame, because otherwise you're not going to be able to maintain the pressure on the cover, which is very important when there's a wind. So put it under each corner, I would say, and also in the middle. And then another thing I've done, I put this metal pole here. This metal pole, oh, there you go, the wind is coming again. Now this metal pole will make sure that the frame will not move in this direction, right? So I think that should be enough. One last thing probably I should mention is that at the back, because of this air movement, you might start seeing cracks, like here for example. Right, so what I've done so far, I still haven't got a solution for that, but what I've done so far is just put the tape on it, right, to make sure that it's not you know, fluffing too much on the wind.